Karl Konrad and welcome to Australian Immigration News, proudly brought to you by Australian Immigration Law Services right here in Sydney. The Queensland Government officially opened their state sponsorship program on the 5th of September this week. In their opening announcement, they have warned everybody that places will be highly competitive. As we have received a reduced allocation from the Department of Home Affairs this financial year, Queensland's state-nominated program will be very competitive. Migration Queensland will begin inviting selected applicants from the end of September 2023 and hold invitation rounds at the end of each month for the remainder of the financial year 2023 to 24. The number of applicants we invite each month will be capped to ensure an even, consistent rate of invitation throughout the program year. If you meet all eligibility criteria and wish to lodge an EOI, you must submit a brand new EOI in Skill Select. Migration Queensland will only consider EOIs lodged on or after the 5th of September 2023. Updated EOIs will not be considered. So where will this competitive environment leave those who are in Queensland and opened a business to meet the small business owner pathway? We put that question to Migration Queensland and received this response. The SBOs will form a queue of their own, and we will process as many as we can until the quota assigned to them is filled. No, they will not have priority of any other visa subclasses or MQ pathways. It could be that some may miss out on invitations this financial year, depending on how many EOIs we receive for this pathway. We do not have a large quota this year, and it has to cover all the pathways that we offer. So there you have it. Just because you've spent over $200,000 to purchase your business in regional Queensland, successfully run it and employed Australians, if their quota fills up and you miss out, they don't seem to care. It makes you wonder then why they run such a program at all when it can turn into a complete disaster if your visa runs out and they don't sponsor you. And speaking about the Queensland Government, do they know something the rest of us are dying to find out about the 482 visa holders? Recently, they posted on their website, the department has confirmed that by the end of 2023, the temporary residence transition stream of the Employer Nomination Scheme visa will be available. This stream will be open to all TSS holders whose employers wish to sponsor them and will not be limited to occupations on the medium and long-term occupation lists. The eligibility period for the TRT stream will be reduced from 3 years to 2 years employment with the sponsoring employer. Applicants will need to meet all other nomination and visa requirements for the TRT stream of the Employer Nomination Scheme visa. So there you have it. They say it is confirmed. Can we be sure though that Queensland Government is correct? Probably not. And we cannot be certain until the Department of Home Affairs actually releases some confirmation information. At the moment though, we will take all the good news that we can find. And speaking about employer sponsorship, being dependent on your employer to sponsor you for permanent residency also brings up the decades-old problem of the employer holding all the cards over your life and the problems this can create. As this story this week in The Guardian highlights, such a system creates an unfair power imbalance whereby migrant employees can feel they are beholden to their employers. The story is about Jawinder Singh and his family struggling to stay in Australia, all because his employer failed to lodge the nomination to gain him permanent residency. It highlights the fact that people can stay working for years in Australia as temporary residents, but if they do not get the employer's assistance in the end, it all leads to nothing. This raises the question of why you should need to be sponsored by your employer the second time around. Why can't we have a system like the Regional Employer-Sponsored 494 visa pathway to gain permanent residency? In this system, the visa holders, yes, do need to stay working in their occupation, but they can change employers and do not need an employer to sponsor them to gain their residency. They have access to the 191 PR visa simply because they have worked in their occupation for 3 years in regional areas. There is no reason such a system cannot be adapted to all 482 visa holders as well. No need for an employer to sponsor you for your PR, and also no need to stay with a particular employer for any length of time either. It is time to shift this power balance fairly to those who have contributed their skills to this country. In a recent landmark decision by the full federal court, they gave great support to children lodging evidence of citizenship applications. It was ruled that even if a child has spent 5 years overseas in their first 10 years of life, as long as they were born in Australia, they could still be eligible for citizenship. These children have lived their lives as ordinary residents and have become part of Australia. However, regardless of the child and the parents' integration into the community, the department has been deciding that the child was not an Australian because of any considerable period of absence in the first 10 years of their lives. We have seen how the department assessed these applications just behind policy rather than all the reasons and circumstances of the parents, and most importantly, ignoring the impact that comes upon a 10-year-old child. We hope that the Minister now brings his attention to what improvements these citizenship sections need to make to serve better our children and their futures. If your application has been refused by the department previously because your child spent considerable time overseas, it is now time to look again to relodge them. I know many of you who have applied for the 491 visa and are on shore and have been on bridging visas for some time. This creates many problems. A petition has been started by one of our viewers to urge the government to speed up the processing times. The petition states, I represent a group of residents of Australia who are living in regional Australia and have committed to this country for a significant amount of time in regional jobs. Some of us have been waiting for our approvals onshore for more than 12 months to 24 months. The bridging visas cannot give us access to Medicare, government-subsidised tuition fees, permanent jobs. Companies do not prefer to hire us due to the nature of our bridging status, cannot make significant investments in regional areas for our future, and cannot demand competent salaries. The wait times have added to the 191 visa timelines as well, 2 + 3 + 1, totaling 6 years to get our PR on the 191. Thanks to Shumna for starting this petition, and we urge all of you who are waiting patiently for your 491 visas to be granted to go online and sign it. We'll leave a link to that petition in the description below. And now it's time for one of our readers' comments. Wesley writes in and says, Australia is amazing, the best country in the whole world in my opinion, but have turned its visa processes into a roller coaster nightmare, plays with people's lives and futures to get the most of money out of this. Yes, indeed, it has been a nightmare in the last couple of years. I guess in all fairness, the government is still trying to find its feet to navigate this complex migration program, and yes, with the allocation numbers for state sponsorship, they have got it horribly wrong. The new migration review should be a long-term vision so all parties can plan their futures with certainty. I think everybody acknowledges that there will be many people who miss out in a highly competitive system. But what we want is to be sure of the rules so everyone can participate knowing what challenges lie ahead of them. If you need advice but do not know who to turn to, don't worry, we are always here to help. Don't forget to support this program by subscribing, hitting that notification bell, and pressing the thumbs up icon. As always, take care out there and I'll see you next time. So bye for now.